Welcome to the Front Room, Fishburn Hedges' regular series of focus groups that take a look at what's happening in real people's lives. This time we've looked at people and money. Since the credit crunch, there's been a lot of talk about a crisis of confidence. But people have always lacked confidence when it comes to money. What we think we're seeing is a crisis of uncertainty. People simply don't know what to expect from the future, and so they're looking at it differently.
Before I used to just spend, I go out and I do, whatever. Now, no, I have to really think about the future.
You have to get on with life. You can't worry about it now.
Well, I think if you think about the future, you're going to worry far too much. Whereas if you think of the here and now, we only have one life. You might as well invest as best you can, spend sensibly, and because otherwise you're just going to worry about the future.
It comes as no surprise that recent events have had a huge impact on people's level of trust. They've always lacked trust, and there's even less of it around now.
They weren't careful with our money, so we have to be careful with them.
Now, when everything's hit the fan, people think, well, I still don't understand it, but now I definitely don't trust it. If I'm asked what kind of institution I would trust, I would say it's a mutual rather than a bank.
You don't trust the banks anymore because of the collapse of things. You don't trust the media because there's so many sections of it, because it changes every day, and you don't trust the government, particularly the government, because you wonder why the government are saying things. It seems to always be an agenda.
What we think we're seeing as a result of recent events is that people are taking on more control and personal responsibility for decisions and financial planning for the future.
But now you really need to shop around just to, find the very best rate you can, even though they're not great, but you have to be careful.
So if you're not aware of that situation, you don't keep abreast of the news, you're being foolish.
I am aware of what the people are and what people think they're going to pay and what they really pay are two different things, and what they think they're going to receive and what they actually do receive. So I'm aware of things like APR and AER and things like that.
But they still want help and reassurance. In this uncertain world, they're turning to friends and colleagues, as well as the media and the internet, to find the help, advice and reassurance that they increasingly need.
On the net, inevitably, because everything that's of use these days is put on the net. Doesn't mean to say it's necessarily true, because there's no regulation.
So I always check the newspapers and the financial part. I read all the Times on a Sunday, just so I know exactly what's going on.
Yeah. Is it Martin Lewis?
Yeah.
It is. He calls himself Martin's Money. He sends out a weekly email, and they're very useful. There are things like vouchers which you can get, which, okay, they're a bit of fun and they're very nice, but he does offer tips on the best credit cards and the best bank deals going on at the moment. And he does it in an interesting way. And I think, having spoken to people, that people trust him.
My reliable source, I think, is Radio 4, the Radio 4 news programmes, because they tend to be genuinely objective.